Welcome to the Spirit of a Badass, where we celebrate stories of courage, hope, and resiliency. I am your host, Alecia Jacobson.
Hello, my badass friends. I had no intention of recording today. In fact, I was just sitting outside kind of doing some free thinking and writing some things down. And I just got so heated that I was like, I have to get this out of me. And I was trying to think of the best mode to do it because what I'm going to share with you today is kind of visual. So I was thinking like, an Instagram reel, YouTube. I'm going to put it here and then I'll put it maybe out to the world. And also, let me just preface this with when I was in the gym and I would demonstrate certain exercises, specifically when you have to do something, if you're familiar with like a dead bug or a single leg deadlift, and part of your body has to do one thing and the other part has to, like, things are moving in different ways. My brain describes it one way. And today's concept, I was just talking to my husband about this last week and kind of explaining it to him. And he's like, wait, aren't you saying it backwards? So however this lands with you today, hopefully you get the idea of it, but just know that sometimes my brain works a little inside out. My friends endearingly, lovingly refer to it as speaking Alecia, and they understand that sometimes when I say things, it comes out a little inside out and backwards, which is funny because I have chosen a career where, well, one, coaching is mostly just listening. However, this and public speaking, given the fact that I struggle so much to speak in a way that other people pick up the concept sometime. Okay, so what am I even rambling on about here? And I have to, one more thing. I have these little stones in my hand because I noticed something a few weeks ago when I was trying to do some posting and I had to watch videos of myself. I have a nervous thing. I don't even think it's nervous. I think it's just some weird habit where I touch my face for no reason. And that's weird. So I'm holding on to these little stones so I don't just start, like, I was like scratching my like nose and my, there's no itch. I have no purpose for touching my face. So I'm holding on to these stones to keep from touching my face. Anyway, I'm getting way off. Okay, so here is what I want to share with you today. And it's the idea of a fuck it bucket. And so I'm going to tell you first a story of what happened earlier this week and then kind of share how this all connects to the fuck it bucket. So earlier this week, it was, I think 2 days ago. And this is my week of summer that I am what I'm calling mommy camp. My little ones are in camp, but it's only for a couple hours a day. And I'm having to sort of rearrange my schedule, and I don't have the free space of, the school day. They were in camp for the first 6 weeks, and now it's like piecing it together. If you have kids and they're young, I know that you completely understand what I'm doing. It's you have to think about lunches, and everybody's going in a different direction. And I'm currently in week 2 of mommy camp. Tomorrow is my very last day, and then it will pick up again in a couple weeks. Okay, so it's Tuesday, and Tuesday, I am not kidding you, it felt like I had already had a whole couple weeks in the week, and it was only day 2 of the week. And I also know that you fully understand what it feels like to be in the middle of a day, and you think like, oh, what day am I at? And you're like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? It feels like it's just so long. And I hadn't thought about dinner, and I have big kids, so high school, and then I have little kids, elementary school. Nobody likes to eat the same thing. And I was exhausted. I'd already did all the things for all of the day, and it's 5:00 and I'm tired. So I go and I get 2 different places because they don't like the same thing of takeout. And as I'm driving there, I'm thinking, should I get some wine? I really want wine. I would love nothing more than to just go home and just drown myself in a bottle of wine and just check the fuck out. And I referred back in my mind to this conversation I had with my husband about this kind of bucket. And I didn't get the wine, but it's the idea of all day long, you're having to give a fuck about this, about that, about your kids, about your partner, about your work, and all of your fucks are flying out the window. You're giving them away. And then by the end of the day, where I was thinking, do I want wine? If all my fucks are gone, it's going to be so much easier for me to just say, fuck it, I'm going to have it. And so the idea with this is that we keep your fuck it bucket. And there was something, this is why I said I wanted visual, because my friend, my wonderful, wonderful friend, got me this jar of fucks. And it says fucks to give. And essentially it's, you want to keep your fucks in this jar because they're important. You need them. Where you want to put your energy, you want it to be in a place where it's going to be planted and kind of give you that energy back, or it's a really important place where you want to put your energy. And there's a little note in here, but when you open it up, sorry for those of you listening, but you can imagine, you open it up, it's this little jar, it has a little kind of tag on it, and it says Jar of Fox. I think she got it on Etsy. But then inside, I'm showing the camera now, there's little tiny wooden words that say fuck. They're like spelled out. And so after thinking about this, I mean, this is essentially what I do with my clients in every coaching session. You know, I talk about, I give them back time. And that's essentially what we do. I give you back, well, I teach you how to preserve your fucks, your time, your energy. So that way, when it really matters, you have them to give. You have them in reserve. So the goal, I just touched my face. I took the stones out so I could pick up the jar, and I just touched my face. So weird. So weird. If you have anything like this that you've noticed, find me on Instagram or on Facebook or something, and you let me know. I didn't even notice it. And then I messaged when I was trying to make, I don't know if it was a reel, whatever. I was trying to make some video thing, and I was watching myself, and I messaged my producer, and I was like, oh my gosh, I touched my face. And she goes, oh, you didn't know this? Yeah, when she makes stuff for it, it's tricky because I'm constantly touching my face. These are the things you don't know about yourself. You don't know about yourself. And then you put yourself on camera all the time. Like, how often am I out there in the world having a conversation and just like touching my face? And maybe that's just like, what do you do with your hands? Anyway, I don't even remember where I was at. But the goal is to keep as many as you can of your fucks, which that means your energy. And this is mental energy too, because we just freely give that shit away. Freely. And we don't even know it. We don't even know it. So the goal is to keep all of them so that when you actually need them, and maybe it's like me where you need them so that you're not going to stop and get yourself the bottle of wine. Because truly, then I was like, okay, because I'm sitting here like in my head, if I get the wine, my workout's going to suck tomorrow. And I'm not going to sleep very well because I have that like 3 to 4 a.m. where you wake up and you're hot and your heart's racing. And it's like, I didn't want that. But in the moment, you know, you feel just like, I don't care. And the more you can kind of keep the reserve of energy when you have those moments later of, I need to make this decision that is either going to put me in the direction of wherever it is that you're wanting to go. It could be eating. It could be, you know, in a relationship where you maybe are short-tempered with somebody or with your kids. And I mean, you all know this. So let's say you are, you know, in a relationship, and it doesn't matter what it is, romantic, friendship, whatever. But if you're going throughout your day and things are difficult and you're having to, you know, give your fucks all over the place and you're giving them away, let's say then you come home and your kids are waiting for you and maybe you have to make dinner and all of the things, you don't have many left to give. And that's when the shortness, the feelings that every single mom that I have talked to, and this doesn't even mean like young moms of, you know, this can be, and just women in general. So let me just, I guess, say that it's I'm thinking you come home, you have children that are wanting your attention, but then you're snippy and you're short. And it's because you have no energy reserves left. You have nothing left. You have given your fucks away and it's empty. So the goal here is, how do we keep it full? How do you decide where you're giving them to? What is worth giving a fuck and what isn't? And then how do you, create the kind of systems and structures around that? So let's say at work, somebody is asking you, there was somebody I was working with one time, and she was going to kind of drive-throughs almost all the time after work. And so our goal was have that stop. Well, what she realized, what was happening is people were coming to her door during the day, during the working hours, and putting their work essentially on her. And she was a people pleaser and didn't want to say no. So she was absorbing other people's responsibilities instead of putting it back on them. And we worked on this. But she realized she had essentially given all of her energy, all of her time, all of her fucks to these people. And then when she needed her own fucks for herself, she had none left. They're all gone. So she went through the fast food restaurant on the way home. So we created a way. We built up the confidence, we practiced, did all these things so that she could not be taking on other people's work. And then she felt better at the end of the day. She had more reserve. So where does this show up in your life? For me, it probably shows up in shortness, meaning, I'm irritable. I know that this happens. I have had conversations mainly with my oldest about this. It shows up in just food, usually food. I'm just so tired. I don't care right now. I just need something. And, when you're at that point, what doesn't sound appealing? Usually the things that you need to be eating for your actual health. And how can you keep your reserve? How can you keep your bucket full, your jar? I have my jar here. How can you keep it full so that when you need it, for the real important things, and, that's sort of a point of reflection in your own life. What are the most important things? Where are the things that you really want to be putting your energy? Where you want to be giving a fuck? And if you're just letting them fly out the window for every person that is demanding of them, you're not going to have any left. And you need them. You need to have them so that you have a wonderfully fulfilled life. I have a group that I am creating. I have a challenge coming up. It is called the Your Badass Self Challenge. It starts August 12th, Monday, August 12th. I'll put a link in the show notes if you would like to join us. But in the group, because I have people coming into the group now, one of the women that I have worked with over the last couple of years, we were all, introducing ourselves, and she said, I'm creating the life of my dreams. And I know how hard, seeing that in writing was really powerful, because I know how hard she worked to get there. And if you want to get there, if you want to be whatever that means to you, creating the life that you want, you have to decide where you want to put your energy. And I guarantee you her fuck it bucket is full. Now, it may fluctuate, but for you to be able to say, this is what I'm actively doing, you have done the work. You have figured this shit out. Now, you're still figuring it out because life is like, I'm going to still throw you the things. But you are able to say, here are my boundaries. Here's what I'm not going to give. Here's what I am going to give. Here are the people, places, things that are really important to me. This is where I want to put my energy. Versus having no idea why you're burnt out and frazzled, because you're basically running on autopilot. You're completely burnt out and you're getting through every day exhausted, and you have no idea what is taking your energy, because you're going at 150 miles an hour. And when you go that fast and when you go that hard, because you've got everybody pulling. I was telling my women's circle yesterday, you hear the term burning the candle at both ends. I don't even know what it is. But we as women, and maybe men too, I don't know, but there's not just two ends. We have more like 22 ends, and they're all burning. And you have to decide, are they all worth burning? Maybe they all don't need to be burning at the same time. Maybe you don't need to be on that board. Maybe you don't need to go on that trip. Maybe just because somebody asked you to do something, you don't have to say yes. So really taking a good look around your current life and decide, first of all, are you even aware of where you're giving your fucks? And then looking, okay, where can I start to pull back here? Where can I start to keep my fucks in the jar? And then seal that lid up. Keep that lid on. Don't leave the lid open so they can just fly all around. Okay? Keep them. And be really diligent about where you want to put them. And when you do that, when you have a reserve, when things actually are difficult, when you have those moments, I'll give you another example here. A friend of mine, we joke, I have a 24-hour rule. And mainly this was born out of the fact that I lost my shit. And so I have a rule that I do not respond to something that has caused me aggravation, irritation for 24 hours. Now, do I do this 100% of the time? No. And let me tell you, when I don't, it's because all my fucks are gone. They're gone. There's none in reserve. But when I do, and I'm always happy that I do, because I've talked before, I'm a little hot-headed, I'm a little hot-tempered, I am a Taurus, I am an Enneagram 8. I am the person you want on your team. If you got a fight, if you need some justice served, I am your girl. Anyway, I was talking with her this morning, and she said there was something that happened last night, and we were chatting late into the evening, and she said, I didn't do it. I'm waiting the 24 hours. And I'm telling you, we didn't go into talking about her fucks, but had it been at 0, had she had none left, she would have done the thing that then today she would have been like, oh, I wish maybe I would have just waited. But she didn't. She was able to pause and just chill out and then wait because she had that reserve. She had fucks left. So go out into life and look, where are they seeping from you? Where are they flying out? Where are you giving? And then making a plan. This is what I work with people on all the time. Making a plan on how to keep them. Making a plan to give yourself more time and more energy so that you are able to put your time and energy into the things that you actually want to be putting them into. All right. If you want to join my Your Badass Self Challenge that starts August 12th, you can follow that link in the show notes and join me there. And I would really love to hear where are your fucks going? Are you happy with where they're going? Or is this sort of this moment of, oh, maybe they're flying out there and I wasn't even aware of it. Maybe I actually don't like that thing that I'm involved in and I'm going to adjust course now. Because you can always do that. You can always make a different choice. 100% of the time. Okay? 100% of the time, you can make a different choice. You don't have to stick with anything if it no longer is serving you. All right, that's all I got. Keep your fucking buckets full.
Spirit of a Badass is a Lit Path Studios podcast and is produced by Jamie Gale and Alecia Jacobson. Music by Shane Ivers. We'll be back with another inspiring interview. Until then, keep your spirits high and your energy badass.